Hi, everyone. You know, we've attempted to get into reading things that either have a story to them or they have something that compels you and me to want to read more. And that's all good. We need to understand those kinds of readings. However, not everything is like that. And the fact is, you and I need to be able to read the things that maybe require you to bite your lip and dig in. Now, I'm going to read to you a section of a book that I like, but it's tough because it's a lot of information about America. It's sort of a history book, even though it's not an actual history book. It's actually a guy writing his own interpretation of history. It's a little different, but there's a reason for me reading this to you. I want you to shake up your mind a little bit and really focus so that you can read like you should read. Here's what I'm saying. Let's turn to this here. I'm not going to say the name of the book just because I don't think it's necessary. But I'm turning to page 500 of the book, or thereabouts, where it talks about industrial America from 1870 to 1912. The author says the following: by the end of the Civil War, the United States and its people were beginning to take on the characteristics with which we are familiar at the end of the 20th century. Huge and teeming, endlessly varied, multicolored, multiracial, immensely materialistic, and overwhelmingly idealistic, ceaselessly innovative, thrusting, grabbing, noisy, questioning, anxious to do the right thing, to do good, to get rich, to make everybody happy. All the great strengths and weaknesses of the mature republic were already appearing, and the reactions of those who lived there and those who visited it were the modern mixture of admiration, astonishment, and shock. Surveying the frantic rush of farmers and mechanics, clerks and school teachers out west to strike it rich in the new gold and silver mines, Henry Thoreau wrote in disgust that matches the infatuation of the Hindus who cast themselves on the car of Juggernaut. To Rudyard Kipling, bursting in the world as the new genius from Anglo-Indian civilization, New York was a shiftless outcome of squalid barbarism and reckless extravagance. Now, that's heavy stuff. And you're saying, I got lost the first sentence. Good. You know why? You need to get in it and grind it out. You need to figure it out. You need to understand what's being said. Like I told you, this is sort of like a history book, but not exactly. Because you notice the author is kind of throwing his own twist into things. And that's what's important, because you are getting a taste for what this person is thinking. And that's good, because if you're paying attention, then you can really understand the twist that this person is giving it. Let me read a little bit here again. We know it's the end of the Civil War, and we know the United States and its people were beginning to take on characteristics which we are familiar at the end of the 20th century. Now, he right there gets you to be led in to a thought pattern that you didn't see coming. He basically led you to it by using those words. He basically said, by the end of the Civil War, the United States and its people were beginning to take on the characteristics with which we are familiar at the end of the 20th century. Why couldn't he have just said what he wanted to say without saying those three words? Because he was trying to persuade you. He's trying to draw you in. Just like when you go fishing, you got that fishing lure, you throw it out, the line goes out to the water, and the fish sees the blue color, grabs it, and you yank him in. Well, that's what's going on here. You're being yanked in. Purposely. The purpose is that you'll start to listen to what the author is saying. Watch. Huge and teeming. Endlessly varied. Multicultural and multiracial. Immensely materialistic. And overwhelmingly idealistic. Ceaselessly innovative. Thrusting, grabbing, buttonholing, noisy, questioning, anxious to do the right thing, to do good, too good, to get rich, to make everybody happy. Now, he just landed so many descriptions right in your lap that you're still probably reading the first words, huge and teeny, which is fine. You don't have to rush through this, at least not right now. If you can get accustomed to what a writer like that is doing, then when it comes time to take the STAR test, they'll come to you like that. Watch what he's saying here. Huge and teeming, endlessly varied, multicultural, multicolored, and multiracial. Huge and teeming, endlessly varied, multicolored, and multiracial. He's giving you several descriptions of the country with just those few words. Huge and teeming. In other words, it's a big, vast land. And then it says here, endlessly varied. There isn't just one idea or a person. There is multiple ideas and persons. Again, according to this man. Multicolored and multiracial. You look out and you don't see one color. You don't see one race. You see many of each. Now, that came from the first few words of his description. And you're still working through the description. Immensely materialistic and overwhelmingly idealistic. This people is materialistic and idealistic. In other words, they grab for more. They're never satisfied. They want and they want and they want and they want. They take and they take and they take. And yet they're idealistic. They really believe that things can be better. And you know what? In all honesty, some could argue that our country is that way. And that is what he's trying to describe. He's describing our country, America. But why didn't he just say 2 or 3 words in the beginning? It's because of the fact he wants you and me to be reading every single word that he's putting out. Look what else he says here. He says, ceaselessly innovative. Innovative, in other words, creative, and has ingenuity, and has the ability to think of new things. Thrusting, grabbing. That's right. You keep moving forward. You keep pushing forward, and you grab for what you can get. Buttonholing, noisy, questioning. We're always about our business, and we're busy about getting our business done. Questioning, anxious to do the right thing. To do good, to get rich, to make everybody happy. It's only in those few words that we're getting a broad and yet somewhat detailed picture of what this author sees as America, as he puts it, by the end of the Civil War. Now, the funny thing is this. If you think about it, if you hadn't put that by the end of the Civil War in there, you would have thought that was today. And maybe that's what he was trying to get across. He put the Civil War in the beginning so you would go by the end of the Civil War, blah, 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 and then whack. Now you're focusing on these descriptions. You see, he's got a certain method to how he's writing. And the more you and I can pay attention to what he's doing, how he's trying to draw us in, how he's trying to captivate our mind, how he's trying to give descriptions, how his guy is trying to make us have a picture of what he sees. That's what he's doing. And you know what? Seems to me he's doing it effective. He's very effective at it. And our point is to be watching and be careful to read it so that we can understand what he's saying and not just be swayed by what he's saying. Be alert, be aware, be understanding. No matter what he says, take it one step at a time. This is tough reading, but it's good reading because it helps you and I learn how to how to understand what someone's writing, and at the same time know what you are thinking too. You've got to be able to read in a way that you can interpret what the writer's saying, understand the message he's trying to give to you, and at the same time have your own mind about it. And that's where the work comes in. We'll talk more next time. Have a good one. Later.